10 seconds remaining. Vega Squadron's turn to ban.
Welcome back, guys. Game number 3 here is ready for Team Liquid against Vega Squadron. It's been an interesting ride through the first couple of games here between these two teams. Interesting picks and drafts coming out of both of them, but a little bit of a change-up. Because game number 1 and game number 2, Liquid had first pick and Vega had chosen Dire. This time around, Liquid choose Dire and Vega get first pick, so a bit of an old swapperoonie there for those guys. But Mobpax, my co-caster today, like, what do you think the reason behind this is?
I mean, what did Dire end up with at major? 67% around their win rate? I mean,
10 seconds
they don't...
remaining.
Can you argue with that? I feel like Dire's just so strong right now. So good. These other heroes like Lycan and everybody coming up in the ranks.
Is this a game 3 statement of intent? Like we've basically just won a game, first pick Radiant, and now we're going to take Dire away from you, a side that Vega Squadron have really liked to kind of exploit with their Roshan taking antics, with their like minus armor, with their Lycans, their Ursas and stuff like that. Liquid will have the chance to go for it this time, and of course, it opens the draft quite nicely for Liquid, but Darkseer first pick for Vega. No Beastmaster available. They don't go for the Phoenix, of course it's banned out, but they don't go for the Disruptor either.
Ricky
Darkseer?
Ricky Darkseer. I think some solid options. Not necessarily guaranteed to go for it, right? Liquid feeling more comfortable. Do they want to take the IO? Are they going to let through? I would guess they ban it second phase. I don't think Vega will opt for it straight up, but they could. I mean, it certainly went well last game, right? So if Solo wants to grab this up here, then IO Darkseer is certainly not an opener to be laughing at, but the slider is not taken out. They feel some sort of a compelling need to grab it, and then once again, the line, I'm going to guess for Heen. Played so well last game, honestly, right at the end there. Basically, like, I mean, you wonder how the hell did they just win this game?
Yeah,
not that everyone else didn't play fantastic the whole way through, but Heen definitely made those clutch plays.
It was like Heen line clutch plays plus Sunray. It feels like that was how Liquid won. Sunray on top of the Alchemist healing and Octarine coring himself up was pretty nice. Now, the Ricky Darkseer, of course, you've got like the Invis Iron Shell running around and Orb Venoming you, and it's pretty annoying. We used to see a lot of Darkseer plus, Spirit Breaker plus Earth Spirit, these heroes that get up in your face. It's kind of reminiscent of what we used to do back in Dota 1, when Weaver used to have, oh god, what were they? They were called Shades. Weaver used to have Shades, which were the little units. Instead of the Swarm, you used to like send them around and scout out, and they were like invulnerable. You used to put Iron Shells on them, and it was impossible to deal with. It was like the cheesiest tactic ever. Little Shades that have Iron Shells, you can't see them, you don't buy Sentries level 1, you don't do a bloody thing about them, you just die to it. I mean, Bounty Hunter plus Darkseer was another one that was used recently as well.
No shenanigans revealed yet, though, and the reason why this Disruptor is like so good, I mean, not only is it a staple for Vega, but up against Slider, it's just like the Darkseer, right? Comes to dealing with him in that off lane, a Disruptor can easily handle a solo Slider, and Liquid is not a team that's known for running these dual off lanes, so by just picking up the Disruptor now, they guarantee themselves a 5-roll. It's fantastic, and that would force Liquid to ban out both the Ricky and the Io in the days if they want to prevent both of those from happening. So just grab that up, deny from the side of Liquid. They'd still love to take that as a 5th roll with the Phoenix being removed so early. And the thing is, do have the first pick coming in here, so kind of interesting that they're banning out both the Slark and the Lycan. Almost makes you wonder if they're going for some sort of play where this will be a Matumba Man Slider.
It's possible. I mean, we could be looking at Matumba Man Ursa if he wants to go that direction as well.
Yep. Yeah, the only other real big one that's left for him, honestly. Like, he hasn't been playing that many heroes, frankly. There's like still the Drow Strap, but I don't know if they want to pull that one out too.
Like Gyro is there as well if they want it, but
there's the Lone Druid. That would have been another good Matumba Man pick, despite not going too well in the first one.
Yeah, for those of you guys just joining us, Heen is standing in for Fata for this series, or at least for today. Fata not feeling too well, he's a little bit under the weather, a little bit sick. He's still hanging around with the team, he's watching and making sure everything's going fine. But Heen is playing with support while Kuroki is kind of switching in and out of safe lane as well as the mid-roll. But yeah, Fata has not joined Secret, he's not started off to Turkey or anything like that. He is there in Frankfurt with the team, he's still with Liquid, don't worry guys. Blitz has given us the confirmation that he is just a little bit ill. After, honestly, after traveling so much in the past 6 months, it's no surprise. You get periods of downtime where you're sick. You've got land flu. Your air conditioning screws up your kind of health as well, and all the little dust particles going into your lungs. It's not. Some people are a little bit sensitive to those kind of things.
Admiral Conker.
Oh, okay.
Admiral Conker!
Alrighty ho then. Now this was a hero that...
Anti-IO?
Yeah, I mean, this hero is interesting in concept. We saw it, back at Frankfurt, was it last year? Was it Frankfurt last year that IG like 22-0'd EG, or was that 2 years ago?
No, that's 2 years.
That's 2 years ago. So we saw it at Frankfurt 2 years ago, then he kind of disappeared for a while. NA team started doing like Kunka Tinker strat. Ix Mike's team did that whole bullshit where they'd TP out with an X.
That's Juve original right there.
Just get dragged back. That's some interesting gimmicks that they kind of throw out. But recently what we've seen, like mids Kunka from Artesia, and a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of Kunka from Mushi as well on Fnatic. But they've been kind of core Kunkas. We've not reverted back to the support Kunka of the good old days. But this guy, he's got displacement abilities. He's got an amazing kind of team-saving ultimate that does damage to enemies as well with his ghost ship. But kind of lane domination is the name of the game for Kunka. With Tidebringer now, you're able to choose when and where you use it, rather than just being hey, it's off cooldown, I have to use it on this next hit. It's so much more potent in the laning stage.
Is it enough to scare away the DKI though? Question. Like, I'm so surprised both those heroes make it through. I know they lost last game, but I thought it was looking really fantastic, honestly, for the side of Vega Squadron. I'm sure that's what they're considering right now. Is like, can we still run it? I mean, their lanes look really solid. The offlane Darkseer, obviously fantastic, one of the most survivable, someone who can always draw that support attention top. And they're not going to do it though. They want that Riki instead. I mean, that's what we talk about, right? It's either going to be IO or Riki. Like, one of the two is going to happen. Oh man, Riki is like so solid, but no lifestealer, of course, and he really was that big compelling factor that made it so good. So there's still some pressure here. Like, Darkseer plus Riki, you're gonna need a rotation from the Disruptor. You start looking for them to record that's relatively survivable on their own, and well, as you talked about, like Kunka and the lane dominator. So now you have to decide who are we gonna send mid, and that Death Prophet we talked a lot about. First 2 games, she got banned out in the first phase of our last game. Be an option there for Vega Squad. Don't particularly enjoy the control from a Darkseer with the Death Prophet, but it can work.
Vega Squadron.
Oh boy.
Turn to pick.
So Matuma Manslaughter, like you said. Kunka mid. Full Kuroki potential. Or do we see this as like a Jirax roaming Kunka, and they're waiting for their mid hero last? Like,
that's kind of what I'm thinking, to be honest.
They've still got options, right?
Yeah. I think that seems more liquidy to me, but you can't really be too sure when they are playing with a stand-in as well, and I'm sure that is part of picking up this Kunka, is that you're not 100% certain. I would lean toward Orc role, definitely been the most common way we've seen him used lately, and you consider where his power is going to be this game, it seems to be like a counter-initiation play to a Darkseer, right? There's a glimpse initiation, and then a vacuum, and then the boat's going to come in and try and mess stuff up. There's that Sven coming out now, and
you ban the puck here. I'm pretty certain.
It's, well,
10 seconds remaining.
Like, puck is such
a pain. Puck or Queen could honestly be fine for Vega. Like, they do have a lot of control with already the Darkseer and the Disruptor, that it might be that damage that you...
Yeah, maybe so. Like, the way I usually look at it is that puck gives you that Dream Coil, which just enables the Sven to do so much more damage than he usually could. Queen of Pain, sure, the damage is there, the mobility is there, and the ability to kind of win your lane as well. But having the combination with not just Darkseer, Disruptor, and Sven, but adding
they run Mag Anti-Mage. Magnus mid for Vega? I would love to see that hero make a comeback.
Mag Anti-Mage? What?
Well, they run the Mag Anti-Mage, like where they do the Magnus plus adding the Empower, and you think the same way towards like the Sven, right? The Mad RP
the
into the Cleave.
Ooh. That could be disgusting,
with the smoke cloud, with the vacuum. Like, look how much AoE you would have. It would actually be an absurd proportion, but you get more damage out of a Magnus than you like compared to a puck overall, it seems. I don't know, there's 3 really good options here, honestly.
With an Echo Saber Sven as well.
Give me that. I'm going Mag. I'm going all in. I'm putting chips down.
So you want a Magnus for the mid lane for a Noble one. I'm still banking on that puck being picked up for them. While Team Liquid, their 5th and final pick, it's still very much out in the open. There's nothing
seconds remaining.
really indicating what they're likely to pick, honestly, here.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, Vega do need another blue hero, so I think my puck is a little bit more founded in the
Oh,
fact that
damn.
put purple and blue
True.
strap. I wish
That
Dark
is
was
true.
more blue.
There are some concerns when you start thinking about things like the Magnus too, though, is that even with the Darkseer, like, Slider out on the outlines of the fight, like he's kind of like an outlier, right? He's always looking to go in and out, Lion, in and out, Kunkka throwing spells from afar. They don't even have a hero that stands in the middle of a fight. Who's actually in a fight right now for Liquid?
5
I look at this and they need the
seconds
beefiest hero ever last, whoever it be, probably a Death Prophet, honestly. You're victorious.
remaining.
Yes.
I bow to you. Puck become the option here. As great as it would have been, apparently Sven cleaved too much. The intense strats here.
So
So
you
now,
want a
yeah.
tanky ass hero that can go and
Seconds remaining.
potentially hit towers, but just stand in the middle of a fight. I
5
ask you,
seconds
is
remaining.
Medusa the hero?
Reserve
She does
power.
capitalize, I mean, pretty well with the Kunkka with that as well. They don't have any saving heroes. He is like mega tanky. So Medusa could be the hero. I don't know how much Liquid have run it. Back towards the PA, and that was banned out when we saw the Omni earlier.
Yeah.
So it must be something Liquid have been showing off. Scrims. Like, I don't think changes to the hero have been enough to really force it into the light. You gotta imagine there's something happening there, right?
You can you can blink on BKB targets now. That was the big change
Yeah.
to PA.
So that is huge. I mean, I'll give them that. They fixed the courier thing. The courier killing guys, unfortunately.
That was a little bit of nonsense, honestly. Right,
No,
game
I mean, they
3.
needed a Magnus on.
Ah, no, dude. No Magnus here. So it is the Jirax Kunkka going to be roaming himself around, and Kuroki Phantom Assassin. Interesting. Malheen will take up the line again. No one puck, FN on the Sven, and Ricky played by Solo, while Sioma and Vega, Mag take up Disruptor and the Darkseer for themselves. We've got ourselves into game number 3. It's one apiece here in this best of 3. Matu Slada, Jirax Kunkka, Heen Lion.
Prepare for battle.
Yeah, Kuroki Pullman Shield, straight up at level 1. Gonna be pulled a couple of tangos and heads towards the mid lane. And the exact same movement here from Sioma, but this time he's not dire side. He's not going to be warding over towards this Radiant Tier 1. He gets one pretty far in, up on the ramp towards that spot there. So they'll see which rune actually Liquid are going to contest. Do you think Vega want to meet this head on? Who's got the better level 1 fighting?
I mean, it's kind of even in a lot of ways. Like, Darkseer is going to have your Iron Shell, just level 1 engagement, but there's no real stuns for the side of Vega. It could be the biggest issue. They have the slow of the cloud, and that's basically it unless Sven's going to make his way over there and be involved. So I don't think anyone really wants the battle.
Let's get
But are free to avoid said battle thanks to their Nature's Prophet as well.
Now, I do wonder why, like, that smoke movement we've seen from Sioma, he's done that 3 games in a row, right? But if you
Yeah.
have a Ricky, why not use the Ricky to do the same thing?
It's a good question. I mean, could be just the movement speed. I think is the biggest thing. Like it just happens so fast. Like I see a lot of teams are doing it. Teams doing things for just you can just immediately get like ward here, and be back fighting at a room, be right where like wherever you want to go. Everyone can get across the map faster. It doesn't necessarily have to be just that vision thing. Now it does allow you to like approach towers and everything like unseen, which is pretty huge. But I don't know. I guess Ricky. Why does Ricky get to stay invisible? By the way, can we? Is that gonna be next patch? You think? That seems like
No.
a balance issue.
No,
Why does
I
he get to
think-
dump items?
I think it's fine. I think he's allowed to do stuff from visibility. Perfectly legal for him, and he's allowed to stalk people as well. Mind control. He's being watched. His eyes of Ricky.
Talk about the patience, man. That clarity early on.
Yeah, and he's got this orb of venom as well as a little the backstab coming through as the glimpse onto mind control as well as a Stormhammer. Secure a kill for Vega on a safe lane. Now, Ricky.
I legit think he thought he was safe because the clarity was still going, and I'm pretty sure Solo just out-mind gamed the hell out of mind control.
Yeah, he's like, right, no one's hitting me, no one's cancelling parity. There's no one contesting, so Ricky must be mid, right? Ricky must be elsewhere. Trying to make a nuisance of himself in some other lane, but no, Ricky waiting around. While Mag, again, even with his Darkseer, I have not seen Mag go to lane at level 1 yet this series. He has He has just gone straight into the jungle every single game with the Iron Tower.
Hey, he saw that Swindle tweet, man. He's learning. He's like, wait a second. This whole offlane thing, it turns out it's kind of awful.
It's a lot of hassle for what it's worth, definitely.
Yeah.
Mind control?
It's too risky, really. Like, look at this.
Mind control? Oh dear. Oh dear, mind control. Just stand still and let the Ricky and the Sven demolish him. That's 2 deaths in quick succession from your Nature's Prophet, and now I'm wondering, does he go back into the jungle? Does he say, screw this lane?
I would hope so.
I'm gonna go and farm jungle as well. First off, he's gonna snipe top rune spot, but yeah, that is a good indication that he will be going back into his side of the jungle, because that lane is a no-go zone from here on out. But that also kind of shifts the momentum of things. You know, Ricky can now move towards the mid lane. Pressure applied to Kuroki is going to mount up massively here.
Yeah, one of the big things about our offlaners and why Darkseer is still considered pretty high priorities. Usually he does stay in these lanes to try and draw that pressure, but heroes that are on the side of Liquid with that good possibility for them. Basically acting as a pseudo disruptor, which I guess we didn't really point out in the draft, but pretty huge too, right? And just can't be in lane and can't draw that support, so it's going to free up Heen, camp mid here, and getting rid of that Observer just so important. Look how close that sentry was. I mean, we saw where it actually went down, right? They barely got that ward that was placed by Vega Squadron. They have perfect knowledge as to where he was, and mean that they're able to keep a good eye onto Kuro, but the tempo has to be very quick from Vega, right? Like, you need this puck to get a control, you need to start running at them, and he doesn't fall off or anything, but you're looking at your Ricky, Puck, even just Darkseer. Like, a lot of his power comes from that early mechanism and the ability to fight, win these fights in the game. And I am concerned about their damage move stages, because Puck and Darkseer, frankly, aren't going to offer enough up Kuro, and it'll basically be all in them to hold him in place while the Sven takes care of him.
Kunkka has hit level 3, and there's been a lot of value gained here from Liquid in their jungle, stacking up camps and getting levels on their heroes, and this will lead into a great chain of stuns out, and Matuma looking to seal this one up with a crush, but Mag is tanky. He's actually getting himself further away from this as Shioma turns back onto Jirax, burning through with the Iron Shell in there as well. In fact, the damage output looks good. But both Liquid supports will escape for now with Solo. Oh, the Ricky with the Iron Shell on him. Heen barely scraping out of that little bit of a skirmish with Solo, but he's still going to get bound with the final swipe in. While Matuma smoked up and clouded under that one, and he's still hunting for a kill, but Liquid don't get anything out of it, even though they chain stun perfectly on that Darkseer. It just wasn't enough damage.
Solo's like actually so good, dude. Gets the smoke cloud down just before the Slithering Crush comes back off cooldown, able to survive away with the blink. This guy has just been doing so much work, and it doesn't matter what hero you give him, right? Like Shadow Shaman, Lina, Io. He can play any sort of a style, where it's a defensive support he does so well, which is one thing that we see a lot of support players kind of stuck in one place is Kuro. Oh, he's also going to be stuck here. Oh, they're not going to go for it. I'm not able to find that glimpse, just barely outside the range, but it's just that range of heroes that he can play from Soul that makes him such a potent player.
Oh, they try it now, but Heen is ready with a stun, but he's not ready for Solo to jump back in. The Hex is there for Heen if he wants to turn this one around, but he's got no one on his trail as well, and gets nuked down. In the meantime, Fatter? No, not Fatter. I'm so used to, like, mid lane, Liquid, Fatter. That's how my brain works, but no, it's Kuroki in the mid lane. Will keep himself alive and doesn't get taken out, but just look at this bot lane again. Oh, mind control. Yep, stunned, smoked, and backstabbed into oblivion. It looks like he might get the Sprout and the TP out. Oh, he's not going to need it just there. Cool, okay, Ricky dies to the tower.
Wow. I guess those armor buffs really kind of turning that fight around, it seems, right? Keeping mind control alive. But man, he just got damage from that tower. Holy. Like,
yeah.
5 armor, Ricky, I guess not a...
Yeah, I looked at him and I checked his armor value, like 5 armor, but tier 2 tower does a lot of damage. Yeah, well, 5.5 minutes in, you're diving into that Nature's Prophet a little bit too early on.
Well, it is the fully completed helm still. The stacks can begin. Yeah, snagged up a creep yet? Oh, he's actually just that poor on mana. He'll grab it now.
Yeah, I'll take it now, indeed he will. Last hit-wise, how we're looking. So Slardar with Sven up near the top. But Puck is doing very well towards his mid lane. Slightly eking ahead of that Phantom Assassin as Kuroki just trying to balance out the farm a little bit. Top lane fight as Heen gets dropped low. Looks like Solo will be able to find that final swipe on him. Shiver the Slayer glimpses one back, but Matuma sprints himself away while his X mark onto Mag will push him away from mind control. So a 1-for-1 support for support there.
No one's here now though, and perhaps a little bit too late though. Like these early rotations on the puck are just so crucial. Really want to get something out of it, especially when you Dream Coil up. You can definitely expect like maybe the I make some sort of use here if Kuro Dare shows his face. I really feel like he needs to get like fully out control here. I prefer to even see the blink first over the veil. It looks like he might be saving up for it right now. We'll see, but it seems to me that it's just very crucial to get here before they let Kuro get anything done, because he's gonna have a hard time farming up on that PA. So there's definitely time to work with, but eventually you're just not gonna have the damage.
Solo is sneaking around, and they're gonna find mind control here with the Dream Coil. Holding him in place, that Sprout tries to buy him some time, but MC is dead. The turnaround from Liquid, looking to get in with a crush onto Solo only. This Ricky has been found and killed off, but what is the plan here? What's the game plan for Vega as they do face shift through the X mark? Doesn't get torrented up. Liquid, 5-man in their own jungle, these wall illusions battering into Jurex' Kunkka. In the meantime, Sven is still farming away, so every skirmish the Liquid send 5 in, Vega are only responding with 4. The numbers advantage is going Liquid's way, but the team fights always seems to be that Vega have the slight upper hand.
Yeah, and that's always scary to fight into. Like, it's really good they obviously caught up the Nature's Prophet. He's a very great target to go on because you really want to keep that numbers advantage. It's scary to go on someone like Heen and then suddenly 2 other heroes are already nearby, but then right into that Nature's Prophet. So we kind of talked about like a sustainable core, someone who can be fine down that bottom lane relatively on their own, and as Sven, he's doing the job here thanks to them getting that tower nice and early on, and it has allowed these big rotations coming out from some of the Slayer to make use of this. But the actual numbers advantage from Liquid, as long as they can try and like keep bringing in that Nature's Prophet, I think they can stem it enough that Kuro should be able to keep on farming. They do, certainly as you're talking about here, need to keep an eye on that Sven Ancient stack though.
I definitely do. They need to know what's going on over there, but they also need to know what's going on at the top lane. Solo just need an Iron Shell up on this Ricky, but that's kind of given away that there's someone around here, and it's probably this Ricky Maru that Liquid do have to be afraid of. Vega Squadron, they're waiting on that blink now for the puck. 300 gold off it, and this creep wave should push him that little bit closer. It's a farming game for Vega. Beef themselves up into these bigger items while... Is the onus on Liquid to go out and fight? It feels like it is, and it looks like they think the same thing. Like the smoke up from these 2 supports, they're running straight into this Radiant jungle.
Kuro doesn't have boots? I just...
Yeah, I keep looking at him and like, yep, Ogre Belt, Ring of Aquila, 1.
Makes sense, the magic damage, but it's kind of comical.
6 small items and no boots.
Well, that does make it a little bit hard to capitalize on your smart rotations here. Right? Like, trying to actually get somebody under, maybe trying to do a quick hop into the jungle there to work on somebody like that Sven if they can find him out, and then just playing smart, right? Doesn't have a lane ward down here, so he doesn't have a good idea as to what they're up. This ward obviously very fantastic. Those support rotations here, it looks like. Are they going again? Another smoke already here for Heen. Don't succeed once, just keep on going, I guess, with the smoke.
Just keep spamming the smoke, don't you? Blink Dagger has arrived for no one though, or at least it will arrive on the courier in the next 10 seconds. Sven, Echo Sabers, the game for him. Well, no one just keeps shoving out these waves. Liquid so defensive in their posturing though. Matsuma finally finishes off his armlet, and it might be their time to actually run forward and try and fight into the Vega Squadron lineup, but
they do know he's coming. I saw him with that ward.
This elusive Ricky might not be so elusive for so long, because amped up, stun into half HP, and Heen, is he gonna swipe that kill? Oh no, missed chance from the cloud. Superman, not gonna get the final click in there. Heen will secure it mid lane. Kuroki, Green Coil, but there's the Static Storm drop. There's the Kunkka Torrent and boat over the top. No one jumps forward. X-Mark down to him, but the final Storm Hammer comes out of Human Slayer and comes back to the Slardar as well, but no one zapped down by the Wrath of Nature.
So close to stopping that Scythian crash from that glimpse too.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Quick TP. A little bit too fast for him, so that comes out on top of the side of Liquid.
Mag just TP's away. And even with a Sprout on him, he's got an Iron Talon on this Darkseer, so he's never really going to get caught out of position too heavily. Hasn't died once this game. And the same can be said for the Sven as well, who's also 2-0-1, very close to his Echo Saber. So Ricky, who accomplished so much in the early laning stage, 3-3-3, hasn't got his ultimate up and running just yet. What kind of problems can this Rookie cause in the next, say 5 minutes or so?
Oh, a lot of his potential definitely coming from that smoke cloud, right? That's the big one. The smoke screen itself, 5 seconds downtime. What a hero. It almost seems like the tricks of the trade just comes down to survivability, right? It's like his own little phase shift here. All these instances where he goes in a little bit too deep, but he just wants to try and control that PA. Like, they got the static storm, they've got the cloud, they have tons of options here to make sure that Crow gets stuck in one place, and it might force him into that first item BKB, which we all know is something that a PA just never wants, right?
Yeah, I've talked to a few players about this. I mean, QO is... He's of the mind that some games you just need that BKB as your first item, but you have to go back into like a Battle Fury as your secondary one. That was like his thoughts before the kind of Vanguard buffs came through, around Dota Pit, around that kind of era where he was still picking the kind of PA and Wisp and going for the BKB, phase boot into Battle Fury as no one doesn't actually draw himself away, but it's a turnaround bait with the Storm and the coil drops onto 3. Solo can't get too much done here as the TP from Kuroki comes back to fight, but the Glimpse sends him towards the mid lane again, and Vega could even jump in. Stormhammer gonna land with the Mind Control, the bonus thrown through, but Matilman is shredded with Heen and Mind Control in the back end. Look at the stun, catches a couple, but Heen TP's away, not gonna be fast enough or tanky enough to save himself with a vacuum back as well from Mag. Mind Control, oh boy, Liquid, they have been stomped here on the top lane, and it's all thanks to that one glimpse back on the PA.
Yeah, everyone just working in tandem here, man. Like the glimpse, the dream coil onto 3. There's so many control elements. Everyone here can offer something, you know? Like, be it the static storm, be it the glimpse, you got the silence coming up from both the Ricky as well as the puck, the stun from your Sven. He's not just some core that can't do anything. And then the big vacuum plays as well. From Meg as no one makes his way back in that mid too.
What is Kuroki up to? No one gonna try and jump himself away, but phase shift's on cooldown now with the silence. He's gonna phase shift again? No, he's not. That's the second time no one has kind of misplayed up against this Kunkka X mark into Torrent. And he's paid with his life.
I'm not sure on that one.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Some
attack.
tough stuff for him to handle, honestly.
I mean, it's pretty hard with that level 1 phase shift for. Yeah, as you get up, you obviously become more survivable on the puck. You get up to like level 14, 13 even. More points into it, so things will certainly get better for him, but for now, they are stopping that snowball potential from him, and he's not, like, this is the hero that brought no one into the competitive scene. Like, this is the one that he first, like, even when there was only really S4 and, well, Fata himself running a lot of puck, it was no one who just, like, burst into that Dota Pit season and just started going insane. Like, the Vega Squadron was suddenly a team, and this guy was just going crazy, so... definitely a hero he's comfortable on. A little bit surprised to see him maybe not pulling out all the stops in this game. He needs to try and get back on track because he does start heading into that veil for himself.
Dire's top tower.
They need that extra bit of burst damage. You know, the PA, got that evasion, tanking up with the power tread as well. Effective HP going through the roof. MC though on this Nature's Prophet, he's had a bit of a torrid game so far. He's 3-4-1. It's not as bad as maybe it could be. He's got a couple of kills back. The deaths that he's given away as well, but with MC and Solo and Sioma and Mag all hot on his tail, Mind Control is going to die a 5th time here and lose a tier 1 up the top lane, but it's the value that Liquid get in these other lanes that matters the most. Can they take tier 1s mid and bot?
I mean, I probably would just static like the 3rd silence, you know, like a little bit of BM almost, but it doesn't look like they will be able to snag it up here as the TPs come down. Ooh, actually, Matumman perhaps looking around a little bit too long as he does put that debuff on, they can bring him on back.
The glimpse.
That's so worth it.
Echo Saber damage from FN and Matumbaman. I was saying it's important that Liquid get something out of these other lanes, but giving away something on these other lanes is just not acceptable for them. Even scanning deeper into this bottom lane to see if there's anyone coming further forward. But it's the 5-man rotation from Vega. They are all here and they are all ready.
It's pretty interesting how Liquid are moving around this like PA plus Kunkka plus line. Like they spend a lot of time together. As you can see, just kind of on bottom. Mind Control again going to be alone for the majority of this game, and he is once more still suffering from a lot of these deaths as they're able to catch him out with the various different heroes they have on the side of Vega, just drafting once more very well up against his split push style. But a lot of teams lately we've been seeing like the 3-4-5 is your pairing. Like you have these cores that are able to farm out on their own and tend to farm in safer areas. Like you look where Mind Control is, and that's where you almost expect PA to be in a lot of times, right? Like closer up to this tower, moving inside his own jungle. But Burrow's just been like all inside the Radiant jungle, so I think he might be a little bit confused as to what team he was on, and having these like bodyguards from the supports, it could be partially what's costing them in some ways. Like, they have no aggressive potential as long as they're just babysitting a PA for the first.
I definitely have not shut down the Sven. You pointed out very early on that stopping these stacks and stopping these ancients being built up for the Sven is going to be something important for them, but he's managed to find the farm, and now manages to find a bit of damage onto Kuroki, but the turn back stun from Matuma Man and the crit crush through from Kuroki. PA kills off the solo Ricky. And Dream Coil does slow their advance a little bit, but Jirax and MC, they've got the positioning abilities with the Static Storm now down onto 1, down onto 2. Kuroki's in the mix of things and no one. He brings it back. The puck, the damage, the output's good, and the Slayer somehow smokes himself away from the little tree and gets himself out of safety, or back to safety even as the jump again. No one, he just not done.
Oh my god, no one, use your veil, you're killing me, bro. That whole fight, I just keep waiting, but it ends up being enough. I thought that Slatter was gonna potentially go down as well. Sorry, he's got it now.
He can face shift this. He can blink this as well. He can. Oh, Jirax, he can TP out of this one though. He's done.
He can.
He's back to fountain. He can. He can indeed.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Are you making fun of my he cans?
Maybe. I don't know.
You
but
can.
Potentially.
You can.
You
You can.
can.
Two can.
Vegas.
Bit of can.
What's he picking up here?
Who's he?
Meg. That's oh no, Meg. Sorry, not I meant he, not heen. Jeez. Please, FNG, FN. What can I say? These players. No, it's the Blink Dagger that's picked up for Meg. The heen though, much more poor. Working on that smoke. Smoke's the deceit, man. He's stacking those things up. Trying to start a collection here.
Heen is very poor. Very poor. No one on this puck. I mean, you probably look for your Yule Scepter next, that added mobility, debuff off. And that's the amplified damage, and you know, get away from these disables the Liquid are throwing towards you. Liquid seem to have a bit of a spark in their step the past couple of minutes. You know, the Kuroki PA Battle Fury is now 1400 gold away. It's not all doom and gloom anymore. Timmerman has a decent amount of farm, the PA is scaling nicely. Mind Control is finally getting his name up on the board, and not just with death, but also with kills. Well, Vega, they need to go and get these pickoffs. They need to keep utilizing smoke, playing aggressively into the enemy jungle, playing aggressively into the ranks of Team Liquid, but it's about Solo giving the vision. As long as Ricky can kind of enable his team to make those jumps, then it's all fine and dandy. But if Solo gets caught, he is a prime piece of the puzzle here for Vega to actually not just give vision, but start fights off. He's almost their initiator.
Yeah, and the one thing going for him is they don't currently have any Observer plus sentries. Lots of these Observers and sentries spread out throughout the Radiant side jungle from side Liquid, but they don't actually have any sort of a tandem there where you actually spot where Solo's moving through, right? Like, you don't get the benefit of both of them in the same spot, so unless they're actually present near those sentries, they still don't know exactly where Solo is. Might be what does propel them into some sort of a condition where that vision will allow them to get some sort of a pick here. And see, they are keeping an eye on this Roche. Probably the next thing I would be looking towards if I was the side of Vega Squadron. Although they don't have the most, traditional Roche heroes, I think you want to start considering your options into that pit. You want to be aware of Liquid using it as a comeback mechanism for sure. Probably more important than your own self taking it. At least until you're taking down that tier 2 mid and bot.
Slardar, the tempo hero, has been relatively slow this game. Armor Blinker there, 1, 2, and 5 though with 120 last hits. He cannot really man fight up against the Sven.
This is such a scary fight to take, honestly, as Liquid. Like, Warcry, Mechanism, things like your PA just doesn't have the damage, even with Amplify. She can only focus a single person. And
Blink
yes,
vacuum.
the ROM might be enough to save them, but...
Ricky breaking the smoke, the dust was there from Liquid. It's great play from both teams, honestly. The realization from both sides, what's going on. Just that one step up that Ricky had on them, hiding in the trees. Get the D-Ward down as well. Sioma the Slayer. Yes, his sentry out. Radiant scouting Roshan with a nice little Sven creep as well. But yeah, like, even if they manage to find that one pick-off, walking into that fight where there's so much counter-initiation, where there's the jumps from so many heroes, Liquid have to position themselves perfectly. You're not just looking at a 5-man dogpile onto a hero. It cannot be like that from Liquid. They can't just go right.
No, it has to be a 5-man Slytherin crush is what pretty much, right?
It's got to be like a PA and Lion go in to kill a hero. They kill that hero, then they try and bait the counter initiation from Vega to jump onto the PA, and then they re-initiate with the Slada with the 5-man crash, like you're saying. And they've got like, it's not just the casual, we initiate into you and the fight starts. It's like 4 different or 5 different initiation into counter initiation to re-initiation, right? That's kind of how the game is played nowadays, where the PA jumps in, the Sven jumps back onto him, the Slaughter jumps back onto him, the Darkseer then comes in with a mech and a vacuum. It's all going to be down to kind of how the teams gel together in these team fights and how snappy their decision making is.
Yeah, in some ways that even kind of reflects like an execution factor to drafts, right? Like you look at Vega and it's so easy to to envision a team fight from them. I can perfectly look at them and say how a fight's gonna go, right? It starts with the Dream Coil, and then it's either followed up by the Stormhammer or the Static Storm. Like there's so many of these blow chart basically, right? A, B, or pick-offs like this up top. Mind Control will go down. Yeah, the duo will solo survive more devastating tier towers. He will not. They are the bane of his existence today, it seems.
I think that's like the 3rd time he's died to a tier 2. Some nasty stuff. Courier. Smoking Vega up deep in liquid territory here. They think that Roshan is happening. The amplified damage is on the big man. But
Thanks,
Liquid,
guys.
they are just outside of this pit and in fact are ready to fight. With Ricky down, Vega Squadron, this is still an interesting spot to be in. Roshan is dying slowly but surely. They popped the BKB to make damn sure that nothing happens. No boat, no torrent, no steel or snaps is coming in from Liquid. And Team Vega Squadron get the Roshan, get the Aegis, and Liquid, that was a 5v4 that they could have potentially gone into, but they're still very skittish about initiating or committing to these team fights.
I mean, that was a 5v4 where they knew Coil was down, they knew Ricky was dead. Basically, all they had to be concerned about was Static Storm at the end, right? And they still can't commit into it. Like, pretty scary scenario for them. The fact that they can't run into that fight and they don't feel comfortable doing so.
Oh, Kuro does have his Battle Fury. Shadowblade on Mind Control, Fury in as well. Looking at 1200 gold until he has his Blink Dagger, and they've really got to give some farming time across to this Lion. Dragging his heels a little bit, but he's got to pick up the pace, get this item up and running. Oh, perfect CS from that creep wave there. Good stuff, Heat. That Blink could be the piece of the puzzle that Liquid really need to dismantle Vega here. You know, a Blink Hex onto the Sven, a Blink Hex onto the Puck even. Very, very squishy with 1000 HP. You know, there's no strength treads. It's Yule's Veil Blink. It's aggression. It's repositioning tools here for the Puck. But if she gets fully disabled, Slardar could easily kill her off. Oh! Like, Jiraxis TP'd himself away.
Doing his best attacker impression there. YOLO Kunkka plays. Thrown out for the wave and TPing home, but he makes it. And now it's important too, because it's not even so much that they have to kill those people and eliminate them right away, like as you can imagine a Lion wanting to do. As long as they can just at least remove one of these pieces of this puzzle for the side of Vega, right? Like one of these silences off, maybe disrupting that flow that they're looking at of stacking one on top of another in perfect succession. It might be enough to kind of throw it off that like could find that room to initiate, especially with the damage reduction coming in from the rum. Like that's where things can get a little bit dicey, things get scrappy, and scrappy fights are what Liquid love. You're talking about coming in and out of these fights. That's what they need. They don't want this organized. Sven gets a free reign during his God Strength, right? They want the complete other way where he can't capitalize on his Stormhammer, relies on everyone else, and you start to spread apart. You come in, you come back out. So we can force that to happen. You can certainly see this game going their way, and that Battlefield is definitely turning this around for Kuro. Way more farms now. Battle Fury, 2400 gold. He can start getting in towards that BKB and finally be a threat to the game.
Mind Control, it just shows the paranoia here of this Liquid team. He dusts, he Shadowblades, and he TPs out after taking the tier 1 at top lane. He knew something was coming. Doesn't actually catch wind of the Vega lineup though. Walk past this Dire Observer board, it's pinged out in fact, so they pretty much know for certain that they've been spotted, they've been scouted. So it'll just turn into a brute force push into the mid lane, with this Aegis up on FN for quite some time. You know, we've still got 2 minutes left on that. There's no real reason that Vega should stop taking down towers and dismantling the outer reaches of Liquid's base at this point. And Kuroki just continues trying to split push himself away with Mind Control, and again, It's a situation that Liquid are all too familiar with. They know that they're kind of on the back foot at this stage. Right now, they're 7,500 gold behind, 10,000 experience behind.
Dire's middle tower
But
is
they're
under
gaining
attack.
traction on the map. They're actually pushing forward into tier 2. They're not giving too much away in the grand scheme of things. Like Vega, thank you very much. We take a tier 2, we keep you back, we try and defend. But Kuroki has just killed off your Ricky deep inside your own jungle with the help of Matuma Man. That's a pick off, that's map pressure. And that's Vega not able to push high ground, but more importantly, they can't utilize Aegis for a while now.
Yeah, that's definitely the most important piece. Some sort of a strip out of their game plan, right? I mean, Vega can't waltz over this map and do whatever they do, please. They really have just totally lost this jungle as well. They've gotten a little bit of value out of it. For the most part, it's just FN running around with his own, doing his own ancients, and Liquid just really controlling that up. So it'd be interesting to see how Vega applying their own pressure in here as they now start hanging towards the tower. They got this really deep ward, which is fantastic for spotting not only smokes, but the courier movement is one thing that you'll notice a lot of these wards tend to focus on these days, and can be a great indicator of where the team actually is, right? Especially during smokes.
Oh, Jirax, he just got it in time. X mark onto Sioma. No TPing away from this one. And Heen has that Blink Dagger available now. Up and ready. Liquid. They've got a bit of spring in their step. The Vega are the ones that are now maybe a little bit of afraid of what Liquid are bringing to the table. These little ganks not working out perfectly for them. No one. Aghanim Scepter is fully completed now. And a BKB from Kuroki. Good timing there for the push. BKB for Slardar on top of that, so the double BKBs here from Liquid. Not necessarily negated by no one's Aghanim Scepter, but it definitely doesn't help Liquid's cause. They have that piercing ability now.
Yeah, they also do have that blink now onto Jirax to still head home and do his little conquer shenanigans. Blink dagger and his mana, and himself right back to the mid. But these are going to be the biggest team fights of this game, without question. You're looking at a time where either team can take control, right? Like one single slip up inside of Vega, and they can just be totally out of this game. When it comes to this BKB from the PA, if she just can get controlled up, like maybe the Sven just gets off solo and they're able to find any sort of engagement, or if they come in 5-on-5 and even pack stuff on the sidelines and Crow can start heroes, bringing down someone like this Disruptor or this Disruptor Darkseer for Meg could just take apart what you're trying to do in these fights. That's now classic pretty considering what other 4 hero really saves up this much money in every game. It really seems like to be a Ricky only thing. It's like that and the Night Stalker Aghanims.
Yeah. You got those big tier items. I mean, there's no Iron Talon or Midas on the Ricky, and that's the big thing, I guess, is that Night Stalker has that kind of farming aid that you give to him. As Jirax blinks forward, and he's clearing out creep waves with his Kunkka at this point, and it's so difficult to stop this. So the split push continues out from Liquid while Vega feel forced to go into this 5-man roaming death squad. They won't find anyone just yet. The courier doesn't trigger the scan, so they can't even go for the snipe on the courier. I think they've got an inkling that there's a couple of Radiant, or a couple of Dire heroes back into this Radiant jungle, but Heen very quick on the fingers there.
Is under attack.
Triggers the blink back into the trees, and Vega, once again, kind of just getting danced around by Liquid. You know, Kuroki seems to be like the Samba master, doing a little 1-2 step, telling his team where to go, where to be, and drawing Vega across the map, and making them waste so much time.
Yeah, and that's kind of the story of not only just this game, but last game as well.
Radiant's top tower.
They are spending a lot of time here. Up, you know, Jirax as well, always nearby Kuro. Eye on him, but they haven't been able to actually find that little tree inside of Vega. Although mind control, like he died, matter because he create this scenario where they're able to tower, and you just think, okay, well, why doesn't Vega just group up and all push top? But it's just not an option here for them. Mind control will get something else out of it, and he'll get just as much as you do. You're moving his 5 while Kurt farm the entire.
Yeah, they need to, like, they really want Liquid to just fight them, and the best way to do this is obviously to smoke and try and, you know, well, A, you know where the enemy is and you smoke into them. You actually go and run into them. B, you try and bait Liquid into pushing a tower and you defend it as 5. Or C, you run in like this and you catch a couple with a massive Stormhammer into vacuum walls, Vomitum Man and Kuroki put demolished there. The MKB from Sven clears up a couple. They're not going to get the Kunka on the back end. The two big kills are what they needed. Slardar and PA both gone for a reasonable amount of time as Puck just keeps dancing around, skip forward. That blink and orb.
And Jarrett's just barely making it out of there, TPing outside the vision of no one who did have his Zeal Scepter available there to be picked off, but all the pings come out from Mind Control saying the Roche, but they have actually made an appearance mid. The Creeper trying to catch up to the Kuro. It's also 30 seconds without God Strength and hits so damn hard. I think they're just gonna go for this. I really like this play. Cracked, and then backed off, you know, head towards the Roche pit. The way to go first.
Oh, they nearly clear out the creep wave with the boats.
Still have
Spamming out
Glyph.
these
Do they
torrents.
save it?
Well, Glyph right here and right now. Tier 3 should fall. I think Vega will commit for this one, but going for more here seems a little bit risky with the rest of Liquid respawning so soon after.
Yeah, it's just a really great time to back away to. Oh. The few heroes that can pull off something like that in the Kunkka.
They're not fully retreating. Oh, they will now. Thought maybe for a second they want to go for the good old regoof back in onto the Slardar, but MC is causing all sorts of problems down the bottom lane. Brickloader, range creeps and a catapult. There's no TPs going back, but Scum the Slayer should be able to clear this one up with the help of Puck. Actually cutting the wave there a little bit further forward now. Liquid. Roshan not alive for a good 40 seconds or so. Matumba Man would love to get the Aegis in his hands. This BKB on the PA and the Slardar, they're still on 10 seconds actually. They're both still, they're both still 10-second BKBs. Yeah. They've not used them once, so we still have that up the sleeves of Team Liquid, I think. Definitely can't count that out in a team fight. The fresh 10-second BKBs causing all sorts of problems.
No time to show off my last one.
A new item for no one. Boot to travel. Close to a 6-slotted Puck at this point. Glimmer Cape for your Disruptor, the Dark
I really like that.
Shivers Guard. Which one do you like? The Glimmer Cape?
Yeah, the Glimmer, yeah. I think it's solid. They need to get that off of Darax though, but really good for someone like Kuro, right? Like it's one of those few items that you can't really force staff away, but the Glimmer could be some damage. Always important to keep into consideration. It's no one? He's in Roche. Starting it off here. That always right clicking it like 3 times and take a hit, but no one's okay. He jukes it out.
Oh yeah,
it's like, is it really worth it? Like, then you pull him out and division up in the match this time. Ben just ran it anyway.
Yeah, it's all choreographed, you know. It's all about dancing. He's just dancing with Roshan a little bit. The smoke from Liquids, well, not gonna pay off just yet anyway. Still sitting towards this mid lane as the TPs come through very quickly back onto MC. They don't have any reveal here though, it doesn't look like. They know that Mind Control's around. The Shadow Blade, Silver Edge, gonna wear off in a couple of seconds, and MC might even look for the aggressive play. Crush. Not available after Blink, he wasn't in range, but there's the Static Storm dropped onto Heen. Matumba finally BKB is up, but Heen taken out with Kuro jumping onto the Sven. The vacuum back, but the BKB from the PA is there to try and save him from that one. The boat slides across as well, but it will not land onto anyone as the phase shift from Puck saves him up. And Kuro, BKB into TP. Jirax X marks one to retreat himself away. That's Matumba Man now that's in a little bit of trouble, but he blinks out just in time before the orb clips onto his backside. His butt cheeks will be safe from the Puck. No unneeded touching today. Liquid, they retreat, and that worked out for them. It's the little wins, right? They get a tier 2, they get a 1-for-2 exchange. You're just slowing the momentum of Vega.
Yeah, and it's only your Lion too, so that Blink Dagger already purchased up here won't be big for him. Ian happy to make that sort of a sacrifice there. Try to slow down this Ricky from any other item. No, that's not his helmet. Snag that up out of the Roche pick, guys. No Helm of the Dominator, Ricky, and drop it down the fountain now.
The free helm. Give me my helm.
Still Aegis, though.
And quite some time on it, 4 minutes or so. For FN to abuse this Aegis. What is Kuro up to? Basher purchased. Abyssal Blade not far away if he wants to rush straight into that. Clearing out his Ancients though, it's going to give him the goal that he needs, and of course he gets that nice little blink strike onto the Ancients as well now, as Jerax continues just scouting out, making sure he utilises all of his abilities to their full extent, scouting wards. He's also trying to set up these team fights, and he has the gem. So if Solo does get a little bit too close here, they'll scout him out and see him.
This is really scary without Sven.
The two blinks come in, but the vacuum wall, there we go, caught two of them, obliterates one, clears up a second as well, Jurax. Oh, dearie me, Team Liquid getting trashed here as Kuroki, BKB's TPing out, but he used Scepter from no one at the final split second. Kuro looks back on the middle of the jump board again, there comes FN, one swipe, two swipes, three swipes, and you're gone. Team Liquid, 3 heroes dead, Matuma Man and Mind Control, the last two here to try and save the base, but I don't think they can. I don't think they can.
It doesn't look like it. And that happened in the last fight too, but there was no Yule Scepter off cooldown for no one. I saw him actually did, he became vulnerable right before TPing out in the last engagement as well, but this time, just really keeping an eye on that. I mean, that's pretty sick, right? Like, that's game with up right there. It just completely secured one up. I'm not even sure why no leaving, honestly. Gonna go bottom to deal with this little split, but you're assuming his team can handle it. It will with melee racks down, a racks to boot.
Is under attack.
Vega Squadron turn.
Nice, some good stuff from them. Nice no one puck. Now with a Lincoln Sphere, 4-2 and 11. It honestly feels like no one has a much higher score than this, but it's just the fact he's kept up the farm rate. He's managed to keep these items flowing in, 19,500 net worth. So Sven is at 25,000. It's pretty good, but
yeah,
I think the fact that Puck is keeping up to him is so much better.
It's insane. That is the #1 determining factor that we talk about these that are just insane on Puck. Be it S4, be it Fata, I mean, it's not that they're not fantastic during the... Lots of players have shown to be great Puck players, right? Sumail and numerous others who just pick up the hero, use it for the team fight things that you... Being a draft, you'd look and you go, oh, a Puck would be great here for that coil. But it's these players that just somehow make sure that they're not using that survivability just... But it's all about this map pressure, the split push, and the overall CS, right? I mean, that's why Vale came out in the... It was just to keep this clear up to a maximum pace, and no one, just one of those Puck players that can always really push it here.
Where's the Abyssal Blade over on the Phantom Assassin? No buybacks though for the Dire team. They've only got Dark Seer and the Disruptor with buybacks actually in the entire game. You've got to say that Liquid would love to have a couple of buybacks at this point, but it's going to be an all-in 5-on-5 almost. Mind Control is still split pushing down a bottom lane as Kuroki X marked up. Maybe looking for the jump here as FN stunned into oblivion and the Aegis will get popped. So it's a fast takedown on the Sven. Maybe a sign of things to come here if Liquid can get their way. So the blink back in the smoke cloud will give them the guise of invisibility or kind of a nice little mischance.
That wasn't that like away. 5 seconds left on 8?
I don't know. Probably. It looks very close. I mean, it looks very close.
That was like risky from FN, honestly. Look, we were able to find any sort of an opening there, but it might trying to close this one out.
Matsumba Man slithering his way across. Hyperstone purchased and the gem is up on him as well. Mid lane's not pushing in though. Liquid have done a good job at keeping this equilibrium back across the river from the rest of their lanes. So the top tier 3 push just isn't happening here from Vega. But if you're stuck back in your base as Liquid, not really where you want to be at this point. Vision is kind of lacking, you don't see where Vega are heading to, and at any point you can get smoked on. The 3-man group up there, like that move there is risky from Liquid. Just the fact that really Vega could have smoked and wrapped in from their own Ancients or something there. It's scary prospects for them. Because we've seen the damage of the Sven. One vacuum pre-BKB onto the PA and onto the Slardar, and they die very fast.
And you look at like the overall vision from, they don't have any of this deep vision that they've relied on so heavily throughout this entire series, honestly. In terms of their overall movement, able to juke around and avoid everything Vega tried to throw at them. It's just not an option. He does manage to snag out one ward that's in their own jungle, and about the Vega vision that's coming, but trying to play this one together, trying to keep an eye on Kuro and see if they can get that magical 5-man crit. into the boat, into the torrent. Maybe that'll be enough time and themselves back into this one. It'll be a long road.
If only they had a if only they had a Darkseer themselves, right? If
Or
they
a
had the
Magnus.
vacuum, or a Magnus. Yeah, I know.
Man,
Just
good hero.
chill out with a Magnus. Chill out with a Magnus. Mag nearly has his Scythe of Vice done. That Hex is gonna prove invaluable for the Darkseers. Next Roshan coming up soon, and that's what Vega are kind of battling against here, is Liquid pushing out of their base, Jirax scouting and giving vision and intel across to them. The Disruptor gets himself a Perseverance, and is that going to be a Lotus Orb, I guess, for Sioma the Slayer?
They're pretty solid for the amplified damage, either going to be reflecting it or just outright taking it off, just further allowing FN to stand at that tower like we just previously. That's the dream. Now, if you Blink Strike, he would get the... that would be... that going? What's the overall bonus at level 4? So that would be bonus attack speed 130 for 4 attacks. Alright. I could go with that.
Please, not bats. You are not Ice Frog. Stop trying to balance the game.
Have you ever seen the Lotus Orb focus bar? That's a good one. Have you ever seen that in a pro
Ursa?
game?
See, no, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for a focus
So
fire Lotus
good.
Orb on Ursa. Like, I've seen it in a pub. It's insane. Sioma the Slayer, well, his life is gone. But a Dream Coil back onto Matumbaman. Might be losing his Slaughter here as the Sven returns to the battle. There's Mind Control keeping in as well, but Heen on the back end has been vacuumed to the wall. This Darkseer is causing havoc, but the trouble is that Sven costing the target will finally kills off Matumbaman and back on the Mind Control. He's going to top of the screen, but Kuroki's there with the Abyssal Blade. FN dropping low and gets critted down. Kuroki's PA, he's cleared up on the second one from Max. Oh my god, PA is actually doing it. Liquid is killing people, but it's not for long. Kuroki cannot keep this tempo up, and he's actually just going to get stuck here, shrouded up by his own teammate, jump forward into the Darkseer and finally kills him off. But Liquid, what damage have they dealt to Vega? 3 heroes dead. They forced the buyback from Mind Control, it looks like there, but Puck escapes. The fight recap, a 3 for 3 plus a buyback.
That's
But
some
is
PA
this-
Dota.
Is this a sign of Liquid's, you know, getting a little bit hot under the collar, getting a bit, you know, antsy, wanting to fight into Vega, and they're showing they can do it.
It's a scrappy fight. That's what they are looking at here. Like, he is the one that has to bring down this PA. We've said it the entire game. Sure, Vega are very clear on that fact that if they don't get that initial stun, the right clicks to that MKB, they're having an extremely hard time trying to bring her down without him. There's not even like heroes that can do that. It's not like you're gonna buy like an MKB on solo or, you know, start buying real damage items, right? That's not gonna happen. It has to be something like this Satanic or something coming out here, but does he even still have the helm or did he actually sell it?
I don't know where it's gone.
He sold it.
Looks like he has.
That's pretty rare, honestly. I mean, I know that you do need MKB this game, and that's definitely what's fueling this, but something like that Satanic plus MKB, Sopoten, Echo Saver, it seems has just overruled the item. Liquid will grab their first Roche of the game.
Now we'll finally get it, and it's Aegis and Cheese as well. I guess Aegis for Kuroki, Cheese for Matumbaman, or some way around that. No. Kuroki takes the Cheese and Mind Control takes the Aegis. And the Puck does try and orb up onto the high ground for vision. No one scouting, seeing if there's any way for them to initiate.
I really like that. I feel like, bro, he can't do anything without BKB on. Oh, there's no point. Like, if he just goes in, he's not gonna do any damage. He'll just use the Aegis, and then he'll have to use when he comes back up. That's very telegraphed. Vega can read that. When it comes to the Cheese, he can still abuse this chaos idea. Go into this fight, do his thing in mid BKB while he's being chunked down by the Sven. He can pop that Cheese. Definitely the right call here. You saw he picked up in a relic, by the way, and immediately sold it. So possibly with the rapier.
Wait, Kuroki bought Relic and then sold it?
He did. Shop. And he did so.
He's gone back for a Helm of the Dominator. I was wondering where the rest of his money went to. But he's got Helm of the Dominator now. He figured that the Rapier is not worth the risk. And if he does get jumped on here by the no-one Puck, into Matumbaman with a Hex, the Link is there to stop the Hex as well. The vacuum into double swept. Kuroki cheeses himself up, and the PA still alive. Max tries to turn himself around with the turns to get himself out of this one, but FN swiping through one after the other, but he's caught in Sprout. He can't get himself out of this one. Doesn't have a
Oh, but
BKB's
over.
Doesn't have anything. And FN, he'll finally get the stun back at the Kuroki's, with the man brought back to BKB to the fight, but the Sven trapped again in the Sprout, forced into the battle, but Mind Control will not live to tell the tale. The age is expended, but Jirax, look at that! Damage from Vega Squadron, clear up yet another, and Liquid forced to buy back multiple heroes just to try and keep this fight going. As the blinks away, no one gets out, and the TP forward from Mind Control is cancelled and rethought. He goes back down towards bottom lane as they lose a Rax down there. Who was doing that?
I think that was just the creeps working on the range racks. We lost the melee previously. Cleared that one up, but that really hurts Curl, man. Another 2k gold down the drain. Really putting any sort of ice onto that comeback potential Rapier, the crazy plays. Again, though, the buyback statuses are a little bit questionable for Vega, and this happened last game too. Like it happened a little bit rapidly that we didn't really talk about it, but it seemed like they were in a pretty decent position, and yet still no buybacks.
Well, a summer man dies back here. This might just secure Vega the game if they can get a couple more Mind Control. Doesn't have buyback either for another 3 minutes. I just checked, and well, he TP's out. There's no stuns available from Vega. But my goodness. Minute and a half without your Slaughter or your Nature's Prophet. This could be a full Mega Creeps taking here by Vega Squadron.
I don't have much hope for this one. Yeah, just not enough damage left in the tank, and Vega Squadron, they came to play, right? Like, this is their first big LAN in a while. Came in, they had some plans. Maybe they got a little bit fortunate not facing a full 100% capacity Liquid. I'm sure some people out there will be holding on to that here, but no doubt still very impressive here from them. I like the way that they've just gone with the rough thing. I feel like this is a very, like, Vega draft. I look at a lot of like counterplay to the enemy team, you know, they've itemized for sure, but
and the trouble is they initiate on the Sven, and he just gets deleted from the game. Kuroki's trying this one, but I think it's game over, man. Moppacks, they don't have any heroes left to defend their base. The double observer was placed in the base as well. GG is called, and Vega Squadron will take the best of 3, 2-1. Solid performance, honestly. I mean, you've got to take into account, obviously, Liquid have Keen standing in, they have to swap their roles around. It's not 100% for Liquid, but Vega drafted well, executed well, played well, and they took the series with some force.
Yeah, especially, I mean, game 2 was close enough in its own right. I would have assumed Vega were going to take that one too, but clawed their way back, and fortunately for the Liquid fans out there, unable to claw it back this time. Man, we got all 3 games. They were fantastically